This was my first session with Peanut, a Weanling Buckskin stud colt. He's never been handled. He's not halter broke. He's out of the RollingCopperPrairie mare, who is this 5-year-old bay roan mare in the pen next to him. She has her own playlist and set of videos if you're interested in watching her gentling process. Peanut is by Rolling Rodeo Drift, a high drift and Hancock Lonesome Drift 045 stud.
Hey.
Here I show my process of getting him down to the round pen.
Come on.
This guy was pretty flighty and anxious when we started out. I like to rope every horse that I get my hands on, and it serves a couple different purposes. First off, it's a really helpful way in getting up to a horse for the first time. You can actually block them without having to go up to them and halter them. And it can also serve as a variety of desensitizing. I love to rope a horse around the neck and then have the rope go around their hip back to me, so the rope is touching their legs. They have to get used to wearing it. It's just a really great tool to have. An excellent thing for a colt to get used to. So I'm moving my rope around quite a bit. I want him to see it and get used to it moving around. And I'm working on trying to flip the rope up around his hip at the same time. And if the rope gets between his hind legs or around a front leg or something, then it's a great teachable moment for him to figure out. Here I get it around his left rear leg and he wants to kick at it a little bit, so I just wait and kind of let him wear it. I'm not pulling on him really hard or anything, kind of just letting him figure it out.
There you go.
He offers to stop and look around for the first time, so I reward that.
Very good.
I try to do everything on both sides as equally as possible. Here, Peanut demonstrates coming off the rope and actually giving to my pressure, which is the only time that I will actually want a horse to turn away from me in the round pen. Once they have some idea following a feel, I will start looking for two eyes, asking them to come off the pressure a little bit and maybe take a step.
Very good, little guy.
Here I'm asking him to step fronts while also getting closer and closer, looking for that eventual first touch.
There you go. Good. Good job.
A colt like this will usually try to leave quite a bit, so it's just a matter of blocking them with pressure on the rope. So you'll try to turn left and I stop him, try to turn right and I stop him, and then let him rest and relax when he's giving me two eyes.
Very good. Good boy.
It's kind of a process, but it ends up turning out really well. Now when he's feeling pressured and feels the need to leave, I can kind of contain him a little bit and he'll face me back up. I did a ton of approach and retreat with this colt, so don't think that I just walked right up to him to do this. I approach, look for 2 eyes, back away, and do a ton of confidence building.
How about that?
Eventually I got up close enough to him to mess with the rope. Here's a snippet of that approach and retreat that I was talking about. I walk up to him, and I use the rope as kind of a bridge to be able to scratch on him. So I scratch on him right where the rope is, so it's not a surprise. I did a lot of approach and retreat with this guy. I just didn't want to show half an hour of it. It would be a pretty boring video.
Very good. Good. There you go. You're okay, baby. Yeah, it's all right.
During all of the approach and retreat, I'm also working on being able to step hinds and fronts. Kind of whatever I can pick out at this point. It's not super imperative that everything's perfect, just that they kind of understand how to come off of pressure a little bit. And I'm really using the presence of that rope to my advantage to be able to reach out and scratch on him too. Every chance I get. And then I release on my terms, if I can. Once again, I'm always trying to do all of this stuff on both sides. Sometimes it's easier for a horse on one side than it is on the other side, so it's just a matter of each individual. He wanted to be pretty worried about me right there when I reached out and touched him, so I set it up again. He didn't blow up and leave, though, which was a really nice point. I also worked on being able to walk up to him and pet on his forehead. Another thing that he'll have to know. There's a lot of this stuff that's really repetitive. That again, I didn't show because I didn't want this video to be the entire session. This session ended up being about an hour long, and I never did halter him. I just roped him and then worked up to him to get the rope off.
You're all right. You're kind of sleeping, weren't you? Yeah, you're kind of sleeping.
So I'm getting ready to take the rope off here, but I'm still kind of playing with him a little bit.
Good job.
I love how towards the end of the session, Peanut really wants to work his mouth and think about it, and that tail just starts going all the time. So I'd like to be able to take the rope off without him trying to leave. So I'm going to be careful not to snag his ears on it, trying to be a little respectful to him. That worked out exactly like I was hoping. So I go ahead and coil my rope up, and he stands and watches. I could have just left it there, but I was curious if he would let me walk up to him without the rope on, so I tried that for a little while. I have to be a little more careful now because if he goes to leave, I can't block him. So I do a little more approach and retreat and kind of take it easy.
Oh goodness. Like you haven't seen that 30 times in the last 20 minutes, huh? It's pretty crazy, huh? There you go. Good job. Good job. It's okay.
I try to do the same thing on both sides.
You're alright, bud.
He's obviously a little more comfortable with his left side than he is with his right. Like I said, this session lasted about an hour, and he ended at a really, really nice spot. I'm excited to see how quick he gentles down. Thanks for watching.